All right, sorry about that. I guess maybe I talked too much. I don't know. That video, last video was 13 minutes long. So this is continuance. And I might have lost what I was talking about. But basically, I think what I was saying was that um, the referencing stuff. I found that I need to have a primal item ammo. Excuse me for saying that. And I think I actually opened one up. Let's do that now. And of course, there's a lot of stuff here you can click on. I'm not gonna go through it all. I'm just, I did look through it though when I first started though. I'm not gonna lie, but it was basically to get an understanding of, see what I could figure out from reading this stuff. And then I started going down and I saw things like this. And this is where the referencing comes in. Primal item weapon bow. And then of course now, if this didn't have this at first, but it came up because of crossbow, which was the primal item weapon crossbow. And then the ammo support drag onto weapon template is the wheat bow or wet bow, since it's short for weapon, and weapon crossbow. Now, this is where at first, like I said, the crossbow wasn't here. It was just at first it was just this, the weapon bow and prime weapon bow. And so I kept going down. I saw the title. I remember this from the game. That's the description. I went further down. This stuff is pretty much basically understandable. Some of it may not be. I don't know. It just depends. Like use, decrease durability. Maybe somebody doesn't understand it. It's zeroed out. So it's probably something you shouldn't really mess with. Stuff that you could mess with, though, obviously, and the stuff that I did was the base item weight. You know, um, which I changed in my modified one because, like I said, I don't want to change this one. And then you could change the base crafting experience, the base repairing experience. So it's how much long for repair. There's one here for look, blueprint time to craft. How long does it take to craft? And then of course you have your icons, your repair icons. And like I said, I went through everything. You don't have to though. Like some of this stuff, if it doesn't make sense to you, and it's hasn't been messed with, then just leave it alone. Okay. Um, Income requirement item overclass none. There's something I'm missing here. I want to show you guys. I passed it. Okay. Base crafting resource requirement. And just a little note. This is another bug I found that you may not noticed, because I've actually seen some people with similar error. So I don't know if it's the exact same one, but this is an error I ran into also. This is another bug. Basically, if you, let's say, decide to modify this new weapon, and for whatever reason you have one, two, three items, and then you think to yourself, you know what? I really don't want this. I'm going to delete this, and I'm not going to do it because I really don't want to. But if you clear this out and it says none, even if this has a number or if it's blank, it doesn't matter. If this is none, when you run the game and you try to craft it, because I think you'll be able to, it'll let you learn it, but when you try to craft and it reads an empty slot right here, it's going to malfunction and your game is going to crash. So that's another bug for you. No double quotes, and always make sure that something is in these spots. If you want to erase something, it sucks ass, but you have to delete all of it. So, really make sure you plan it correctly. Because if you have, like, let's say 5 items and one of them is blank, you have to delete all 5 and restart over. You can't just keep this empty, which is what I tried to do. I decided to change something and I left it empty, and next thing you know, I have a friend that's been testing them out. He's actually on the webpage, Chubbs2287. And he's the first one that told me, and then I tried it, and once again, for me, this is not like, actual programming. With programming stuff, they have programs like Visual Studio where you can debug and you can kind of like find out where the bug's at. When this thing crashes, there is a freaking whole page full of shit that you may not even understand what you're looking at. So that's the other area you need to look for. Now back to this now. Now, when I first did it, this is primal item. That word messes me up a lot. Primal item ammo arrow stone. I noticed that weapon bow and the weapon bow here. Now, obviously, I'm not making a regular arrow, which is what it is. So when I first looked at this, I needed to find out what was different between this and this. Because ultimately, what I wanted to do was create a third type of ammo for the weapon bow. So once I looked at it and I got a feeling for it, I said, well, let me look at this and see what's different about it. And of course, I looked at all this stuff too compared to that one. And basically what I did was, which is a pain in the ass, but I did do it, was I just had them both lined up and just kept clicking between each two to see. And then I would look like here, allow use while writing, and I'll scroll down. And also, that is a pretty cool thing. I haven't actually tried it. I keep forgetting to, but some of my mods or items, ammos, I have clicked this. So anybody who's familiar with my mod, if you want to try, you can and see if it does allow you to use it. Obviously, I didn't do it with the arrows because that's stupid. I don't think it works like that. I could be wrong. I haven't tested it out. I did it for the actual weapons, like the rifle. So for people that are curious, you could try that. See if you're allowed to use the tranquilizer rifle with while you're riding on your dinosaur or your bird, which I thought was cool because I played the game and I really hated the fact that you couldn't pull out a weapon while you're riding a dinosaur. I just thought that was dumb. Um, okay, now here we go. Now I noticed when I see this is what I was talking about. When I looked to see what's different, I noticed that this was the same, which it should be, because it's basically the crossbow and the weapon bow. There's no need to modify the actual weapons. The ammo, of course, or this I don't even know what they would consider this. I guess it's a weapon template for ammo. That's the easiest way I can put it. But this one obviously was different. So that's when I first realized, okay, and then of course now I see that this has changed. So that's the first thing I realized is that these need to be modified. But of course, when I first started this, I'm thinking to myself, where the hell is it? And that's the thing. Certain things are separated. This stuff is in weapons, the ammo, but the other stuff. Actually, hold on a second. Something is missing. Anyway, we'll find that in a second. These are the projectiles. You know, this stuff. What I showed you earlier was basically the actual item of the ammo. That just has details about the ammo, how to craft it, what is it, what weapon does it use, and stuff like that. So it's just a bunch of properties you have to fix. The projectile arrow talks more about the actual, I guess you could say, effect of the arrow, and I'll show you real quick. I'll open up the stone one. I don't think I need to open up the trank one though. I have everything close for now, but basically the things, you definitely want to look through everything um, with any mod, you know. You're not well. Let me scratch that. Not everything. Obviously, you don't need to worry about the transform properties. Static mesh you will if you want to change your arrow, which in this one you see it's normal. But if anybody who's playing my mod will see that my arrows actually changed. I've changed the texture for fire arrows. The arrows are actually red. So certain things like that you will need, and I'll go through that in this maybe not this video, but this little tutorial I'm creating. But basically, it's always a good idea to go through everything because there are features in here that you may not realize. I like my admin rocket tool. My admin rocket tool that I created for admins is actually a infinite ammo, and I increased the speed of the shot. Not as fast as an assault rifle, but basically the rocket, shoots faster and is unlimited. And that took a little bit of time to find in these properties, and it also took a little bit with trial and error. So always look through this stuff. Now here's one of the reference things. Pick up item class. When I first started this mod, this really got me upset because if I am correct, and let's just make sure, because like I said, I don't know if I'm ADD or what, but I definitely have terrible bad memory. Okay, yeah, see? The projectile arrow trank uses the same pickup item class. So I was having bugs and I thought this was an issue. So all my arrows had this at first. I have to check because I think originally I changed that and found out you actually don't need that. Actually, you know what? Just to be on the safe side so I don't forget it later, let's just double check. We'll try it. Where the hell is it? Fire arrows. Where are you? Fire arrows, fire projectile 2. Okay, let's see. Pick a class. Yep, see? So you actually don't need that. I don't know, I can't remember. I do a lot of trial and error so I can figure this thing out more because some of these, like I said, I'm new to Unreal Engine 4, so some of this stuff is new to me. Um, so you don't need that. But anyway, if you see that your thing is not your, well, not this because you're not making arrows, but if you are, whatever item you are, the whole point is, sometimes you just have to do trial and error. Of course, the rendering, this is in case you also want to change the arrow look, I believe. Let me see, materials. Yeah, see? This is for Trank. This makes it green looking. So for mine, it was red. And let's see. Anyway, I don't want to confuse you on what I'm doing. Basically, what I'm trying to explain here is that you have to go through everything, even if you don't think it makes sense. I mean, like for instance, LOD. To this day, I don't know what LOD is. I'm pretty sure I can figure it out once I start learning Unreal Engine 4, but to do a mod, especially like for this game, they don't explain everything. Instead, they just, they can help you out, the devs, but a lot of them would figure that you can get it on your own, and the only way you would get it on your own is if you knew Unreal Engine 4. But to learn the game engine in enough time to make mods, I mean, it takes too long. So, you definitely want to go through everything and check everything. And that's basically what I'm showing you. I mean, I'm not going through everything now because it's a waste for me because I already need to know, I already know what I need to look for. There we go. Sorry about that. So for me, like with the arrows, I found after going through everything that here was another reference. And this was the impact template. This is basically what happens when the arrow collides with, a floor, a dinosaur, whatever. And of course, Trank Arrow doesn't do crap. That's why it's blank. It has some stuff here like stop on explode, attach on impact, which obviously that's common sense. That's just when the bow, when the arrow hits the body, it sticks onto them. Some of the stuff I don't know why they check though. Explode on impact. I couldn't understand stop on explode or destroy on explode, which would destroy the actual arrow. But because they wanted to attach, I guess they would leave this. But then the explode on impact, I'm assuming that means the arrow explodes, but then that wouldn't make sense because why would it attach? Who knows? Either way though, you want to go through everything when you're doing mods. And like I said, this one has the projectile impact, which we'll get to also. Effects, I won't go to that yet. Anyway, basically, that's the thing you wanna remember when you start with the mods, is you have to look through everything, because there are a lot of things referenced. Now, I went to weapons, I went to projectile. I should have not did that. What I should have showed you was the best thing to do is click Primal Earth, and like let's say if you want to do arrow, whatever you want to mess with, a gun turret, an NPC, whatever, everything is mostly in Primal Earth. You know what I'm saying? So you want to start here and then type what you're looking for and then find it. Find what you think you need. Like this is material for the arrow. If you want to change the color, you would open this up, and of course, once again, you have to look through everything. Now here I find that, and of course you can see this is how I find stuff. Like game, Primal Earth, weapon bow, arrow, MIC. That's why I find stuff where I want to switch it. But then I look through things. Texture. I know that this stuff uses textures, for the game. Texture perimeter is the actual texture being used, the green. That's how I was able to change the color. But basically, long story short, you just want to find things that you need, in the Primal Earth. And it looks like it's a pain in the ass, because it is. Look at all this stuff. I mean, who wants to go through every single thing? You don't really have to. Some of this is just common sense. I know that, I don't, let's say if I first started, I don't know what crossbow arrow is. I don't know what this would be used for. I could guess it's a material, but there's so many, so who knows which one. I see projectile arrow, projectile bolt, and I'm thinking, okay, so, what is all this stuff? How do I start? This is just a general idea to show you all the stuff that's connected to, let's say, the item that I want to use, which is the arrow. The rest of stuff, like I said, is common sense because when you look down, and this may not be common sense though, I had to find this. Most everything is in Primal Earth and then core blueprints. So you could just hit core blueprints, but sometimes not everything's in the core blueprints. But I look at things and, like, for instance, I want arrows, so I know something has to do with projectiles. I know it's definitely a weapon, so I know something's got to be in those two. Now, if I see something in here, or like when I went through the details that you saw stuff in there, if I see something like that and it's not in here, then I just start checking other places. You know what I'm saying? To find out where it's at. Like, for instance, the wheat bow and the wheat crossbow. You see, I hit core blueprints, right? And for some reason, oh, you know what? That was stupid. Never mind. That was a dumb mistake. Okay, we'll do bow. Okay, here we go, wheat bow. All right, so never mind what I was just about to say. Anyway, the whole point is start with Primal Earth. If you don't see it, something later on that you see needs to be referenced, you just look for it. But basically, you want to get an idea what everything is referencing to. Okay, that's just basic stuff that people need to remember, and maybe they already know. I'm just going over it. I'm gonna stop this vid now, and the next vid is gonna basically start on this, and basically show you everything I do, and then we're gonna try it out in a game. Um, we may even decide to change the color because I really don't like the idea of making duplicate ammos or a variety of ammos that have different effects and they all look the same. I thought the devs did a good idea when they did Trank with green, uh, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with poison because I don't want to do green again. It may be confusing between Trank and poison. Someone might use the wrong arrow. I might just make it purple. I don't know.